Alright, it looks like we just had a disconnection. The disconnection happened just as we had accidentally clipped the object that you see on the right here into the floor and bugged it up, but we managed to reset that using a death. However, I did demonstrate afterwards that I was able to transport it over to this side. And which is actually a bit of a problem because I don't know whether it's part of the solution path or a bug. The reason we don't know is because normally when you try to grab this object and then warp to a standing position across this gate, warp to this point here, it actually reads you as crossing a boundary and it bounces this back. However, it bounces it back into the switch and opens the gate. However, if you warp with this object while you're in midair, the interaction is slightly different. It does not detect that you have crossed a boundary. Like if you're falling with it while you grab it, right, then it actually detects differently while things are in cooldown. And it basically let me carry this over to this side without having this be available. So the thing is this a property that we can use? Because if it is, look at that, and it resets here. So that's a bit of an edge case scenario then that we completely didn't foresee. It feels completely unintuitive, where I feel like we bugged this thing out. But it means that I have the opportunity to maybe leave a warp point up top, where, see, so let's demonstrate what I meant. Let's say we leave a warp point here. And let's say I grab this. Oops. And let's say I'm grounded, and then I warp. Then it resets. But let's say I grab this. No, hang on. Let's say I leave the warp point for the same interaction. And then I warp while I'm in midair. Then it doesn't reset. Now that has an interesting implication, which is that we would be able to have like a midair warp point here. We can pocket this in midair, and then it resets here. That totally seems like a bug, but then maybe it's actually the puzzle solution, because it gets me out. I don't know how that works. I don't know why that works. Why there's a difference between whether you have or haven't landed when it detects whether you've crossed a boundary. Maybe this is an edge case mechanic that this puzzle is just teaching me, but regardless, I think we'll just take it. And that's the clear for this room. Too bad this was split by the disconnection just before we got it, but I guess that's an incentive to just continue and see if maybe we can do one of the combat rooms. We'll at least take a look and do a bit of a sampling of it. Okay, feet off the floor, defeat all enemies without landing on the ground. Yeah, so these are the only challenges remaining. We are not going to get through a whole set today, obviously. And this will probably have to use a lot of air stalling and grapple and all that. 12 waves, though. We'll see how it goes. Combat challenges have typically taking me quite a bit of time, so we'll try to get a bit of practice in and see what happens. Okay, so once you jump off, then once you grapple out of here, then you're just not going to have a platform to land on. That's okay. We'll just have to figure this out. Okay. We took way too much damage on that. We should... Oh, we do need to do occasional block, actually. So we just need to keep grappling. That's really it, because we have this grapple point available all the time now. Oh, I see. And you do get temporary platforms if you... Yeah, so you don't have to be in the air all the time. You can actually use the platforms. How do I deal with the one that got a shield down below? I don't even remember these enemies very well, to be honest. Hang on. Okay, so you can tap that. Oh, I see, and it breaks the shield. That's right. They are shield generators. We hadn't seen those in quite some time. In months, actually, at this point. Because we haven't really progressed the main story in that long. Now, sometimes you can grapple into enemies as well. That's something that you have to remember. And it means that we have to be careful, because sometimes we grapple into enemies when I'm reaching a grapple point. We should have taken those out through projectiles, to be honest. Okay, wave 3, wave 4. Well, apart from the incoming damage, it's not too bad, really. Yeah, no, we can't go that low. I was hoping to maybe footstool it and do a down swipe or something, but we may in fact have to get those by projectiles or by chakram. Like, chakram would make a certain amount of sense for those. Also, you don't have very many arrows available for this, but you do get replenishment when you take them out. Yeah, you do actually get a generous amount of arrows back. Oh, no, too low. Okay, let's try this again. We should really do this by arrows. Yeah, because you get an automatic replenishment at the end of the wave. You don't need to touch anything to get the arrows back. Oh. Be careful here when you have to latch onto things. Nope, too low. You can kind of tap them and then zip out of there, but it is risky. We should use the platforms that we do have to our advantage. And just let them reload. We don't need to do it the super hard way. Oh, didn't have my grapple available for some reason, probably because I got hit. Yeah, so those you do by arrows. These you do by arrows. 9 arrows. This one you need to slap. Oh, no, too low. So, best one so far is wave 4 or so. Nope. Shouldn't have gotten hit. We should have deflected those. Oop. Nope. Too busy slashing. I just missed a grapple. James D, welcome. Hope you've been well. It's been a while. Okay. Nope. Need to not let these guys rush into me and hit me with the explosion. That's already a pretty blown attempt. Oh, I was trying to deflect and grapple at the same time. Not recommended. Yeah, I'm doing alright. We've been off stream for a good part of this year because we needed to take care of a couple of things, like moving all of my VODs to YouTube, which we have now done. And I'm just going to punch in the link. So yeah, we had to do a big migration earlier this year, which took me off stream for a while I was managing that. We also upgraded the whole setup, so the picture and audio quality and everything should be much, much better than it used to be. But it does mean that I'm still on this game after several months, because we've just been doing some challenge rooms while we're right at the end game. Whoops. Yeah, let's just melee into these guys. Then... Okay, we do get the arrows back, though, so... Oh, let's... Oh, yeah, have to be careful when you grapple the enemy towards you. In case you... Oh, okay, so I can't pick these guys up very well. Yes, I can. What am I talking about? Of course I can. Actually, that's the trick to these ones, is you pick them up towards you by holding into the grapple. If I can just get them to let me slap them, though. Yeah, that's much better. Wave 5. But yeah, we've basically gotten the stream spruced up ahead of the Switch 2. There's some possibility I might go back to do some Tears of the Kingdom, in fact. Once Switch 2 comes out and we get the fancy Switch 2 edition going. Because we still have a lot of quests in it that I never got around to. And the last time I streamed it was when I just looked at the whole hero's path of everything we've done so far, or rather the parts that were able to be captured. I was missing the first 10 sessions or so because our playtime was so long. But I have a complete map of everything we did in the depths in the sky, and so actually more information than I thought I'd get. Oh, this guy's shielded. I forgot. Pay attention here. Whoops. Yeah, I already have the Switch 2 reserved for launch, and so we'll see. Obviously, I'll be busy with some other things at first, like Mario Kart, and for that matter, the Welcome Tour, which I actually do intend to stream if I can, because I actually do think that would be interesting. But yeah, very likely I'll want to go back to Tears of the Kingdom at some point. I was kind of putting it off, so. But that's as good an excuse as any, especially because I was finally going through a lot of my old VODs during the whole video migration. Clipping some things and remembering what a wild time I had with that game. Come on. Let's grapple him over. Oh, too low. I was trying to pick him up. I got pulled down instead. But yeah, I have an in-store pickup coming on launch day. I got on the Nintendo reservation list as well, but it hasn't come through for me, and I luckily don't need it. I do, however, need a second dock if I can get one. And other retailers don't carry that. Only Nintendo carries that, so... Too much damage incoming already. Really should have taken those out by projectile. Whoop. Can I pick up this one? Oh, don't need to. Okay. There we go. But yeah, we're just doing challenge rooms in this game. We are pretty far along. I had a bit of a disconnection earlier, so I've actually been on much longer than it would say. But I've been putting off the finale of this game for several weeks now. And just clearing a lot of the harder or optional content. In the meantime, these guys are very annoying. Let's just pelt them. And then see if I can do that. Okay, wave 6. That's good. These ones I definitely have to just shoot and dodge. Got some arrows back for our trouble. Whoop. Oh, these guys. I have plenty of them in the other challenge we did the other day. 2 life bars remaining. Number 8. Whoop. We need to deflect that. Should just be arrow shots up to the top, though. And yeah, James D, you'll get it, but you don't know when. Hopefully it won't take you too long. Yeah, I didn't even bother messing with online pre-orders because I expected them to be a disaster. Oh. So when the opportunity came up to just get one in the store, I went for that right away. Come on. Try to grapple these guys up. There we go. Took way too much damage off of that, though. So yeah, this is just a don't touch the ground challenge. And it's one of the last things that we have to do. Okay. So they have a diagonal pattern, then we just need to zap them like that, and that's fine. These ones will just slap with the sword. Unfortunately, the diagonal tongue lash just gets to it. Oh, whoops. So, James D, I got mine from the shop that at the time that I ordered was known as GameStop Canada. Now, the thing is, GameStop had been trying to sell its Canadian business for some time. It was formerly EB Games, but then GameStop rebranded it as GameStop because they thought that name carried a bit more currency after the whole meme stock craze of 2021. But then they sold it off to a Canadian owner after the Switch pre-orders had all gone through. So now technically my Switch pre-order is with the former EB Games that was renamed GameStop and it has now been renamed back to EB Games. That's the story. Now if you look at my receipt, it has GameStop printed on the front and it has EB Games on the back because they actually never ran out of the old receipt paper from a few years ago. From before they were temporarily renamed GameStop. But yeah, they were by far the smoothest experience. They had the best stock. I had no issues. I didn't even queue for it at opening the day that orders opened. I actually went there later in the day, several hours later, and they had plenty of units available. And so it was an even better situation than I had for Switch 1, which I also did in the store at that point. I know at this time not to mess with online orders if I can help it, because the systems are usually a fiasco. Okay. Whoop. No, standing too close to that one, just gonna zap immediately. Yeah, Switch 1 I got at launch as well. I am still on my day 1 Switch 1. I understand that the day 1 units actually have a bit of extra value in some ways because there is a particular hardware exploit that permits homebrew which cannot be patched. I haven't messed around with that, but if I'm not using my Switch 1 unit for anything else, who knows, maybe we can play with that a bit, see what happens. But yeah, because the Switch 1 is sort of on the launch units, unpatchably open to homebrew, or so I'm told. I never really sell any of my old systems anyway, to be honest. And I'll probably find some purpose for the Switch 1, even if I'm not actively using it as much. Okay, that was a bit cleaner. Now these guys, I can just go take them right away. That was really not too bad. Oh, I really needed to deflect out of that one. Let's just slap him. We don't want to spike him because we can't follow up. We actually got a little bit of health back for that, which is nice. Yeah, that we do by arrows, and we actually get all the arrows back, so no disadvantage to doing it. Oh, these guys are a pain. Okay. Okay. Can I... Alright, got a little bit of health, a sliver of health, but... Yeah, these ones are a problem. I was never great at dealing with them even in the main game, so... Oh yeah, because they're invisible half the time, that's why. Okay. That's a lot to deal with. And, oh yeah, and those guys have the homing missiles, we have to watch out for that. We have to get a couple of deflections in for this. That was wave 11 though, that's pretty close to the end. And James D, you were saying you dropped by a Target and they just happened to have switches and they weren't telling people on the phone. Yeah, it seems like that's usually the case for the really coveted items, is that they don't like to disclose the remaining stock. In theory, I liked Nintendo's own scheme for the reservation list this time around. I just hadn't been called on it yet. And unfortunately, apparently if you get called into the Nintendo invitation system, you do have to order the Switch 2. You can't just order the accessories, which was too bad because I was hoping to get my hands on a GameCube controller and an additional dock where they get scooped up too soon. And I expect the GameCube controller is going to get scooped up really quickly, which was why I was trying to keep watch for that. Because these are also the same items that other retailers will not carry, right? They're Nintendo only. Okay, spiking these with an arrow from above seems to be the safest way to deal with them. Oh. Okay, I have to approach these guys at the spawn position as early as I can. Or just drag them down, I guess. go. It's really just a grapple check to see how good you are at using the pull. Which really does feel like Devil May Cry now, because that's one of the mechanics that's all over Devil May Cry 5, actually. Nero using the traction arm. The grapple arm. Whoops. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, when the system actually launches, then they're opening up orders for things like the GameCube controller. But I kind of expected to be a bit hot. Whoops. I just get that feeling. Okay, remarkably we didn't take damage on that. And we got some arrows back here as well, which is good. Break the shield, and then slap this guy. Getting slightly better at this. And then just try to stun him out before he can get his attack down. Okay, again. Let's try to, whoops. Just get into position for some of these. Yeah, that was not as clean as it could have been. Whoops. Oh, no, accidentally spiked myself. That was a mistake. We were doing pretty well up to that point. So yeah, James D, you said you have to have Nintendo Online for at least 12 months, and then you have to have 50 hours of playtime total on your account. For people who play things like Mario Maker regularly, that's absolutely no issue whatsoever. In fact, I think people who are active in Mario Maker in that system have kind of a disproportionate advantage. But it's a pretty decent anti-scalping measure in terms of just, you know, making sure they protect the people who actually are serious Nintendo players. I mean, of course, it's helping from people who are getting the online orders in because, you know, it's even worse than usual, I think, because everybody is also worried about the retail price going up from tariff risk, because that's already happening with the other consoles, like how I think Xbox is marking everything up later this year. And Nintendo already kind of had to compromise on marking up their accessories, because I think they understood that the console is already kind of at the limit of what the market will bear. And so I think the people who do want to scalp off of the first round of online orders are kind of banking on that uncertainty, where, you know, they know there is this sense of particular urgency to get a Switch 2 before retail prices start exceeding scalping prices, you know? But yeah, I mean, I haven't had to pay attention to the secondary market, thankfully, because my pre-order is safe and... Whoop. Too busy trying to deflect. There is a bit of a cooldown between the parry and the grapple. That's something that we didn't really know previously, I think. Because I've been using the grapple very little in combat. The thing about these challenge rooms is that there are a lot of mechanics that I previously didn't really use that I'm suddenly using all over the place. That was way too much damage. Let's just reset this. But yeah, no, people who have Nintendo Switch Online, even if they don't meet the requirements, they were able to get into Nintendo's reservation system. The idea is that Nintendo's going to sell to the people who meet priority first. Then they sell to other registered subscribers second, so they can kind of limit that And then from that point, they opened up their general online orders. So there's this pecking order to it. You know, which makes sense from their perspective. I mean, they get more software sales if they make sure they sell consoles to people who are actually going to buy the software, right? So, and who actually play their systems. Okay. We took way too much damage for room 3. Let's just start this one over. So best one so far was room 11. Wave 11, rather. You think... yeah, you're saying you hope retail for Switch 2 doesn't get to 700 or 800 because that's what scalpers are asking for. We'll see, because definitely right now the Switch 2 is underpriced relative to things like Tower of Risk, as far as I understand it. But again, I think particularly with the software prices all getting marked up, that everything is already at the limit of what the market will bear. And okay. One moment, I'm just checking something with my setup. There we go. Yeah, I was managing a disconnection earlier. Our first one in a while, actually. I hadn't really had network issues recently. Okay, the deflection there kills that instantly, which is great. Let's break the shield, and then we'll... Alright. Not too bad. These guys we have to pull... Oh, no. But yeah, I never really used the grapple pull on the enemies in the main game, and so that's still something that feels kind of new to me. And so now is the time to master it, I suppose. Actually, the grapple seems to just... yeah, you don't want to stand that close. I want to give it a bit of distance and want to hit perpendicularly. Or orthogonally, I guess. But yeah, we'll see if I have time to actually stream anything else between now and Switch 2. I wasn't really expecting I would. But there are a few things in the first-party lineup for this year that are very high probability for the stream, let's say. I mean, definitely between Donkey Kong and the Kirby expansion, it's going to be a lot of platforming content to look at. Okay. Let's pay attention here, and then, whoop, no, charging right into me. I could have just deflected that. We'll get enough arrows back. Oop. Pull him over. And then just stun him out before they can shoot me. Oh, no. If you get frozen, then you just die, I think. Because it just drops you. So we absolutely can't get hit by the ice. And let's not zip into the explosions, obviously. Okay. The shield, nope, too low. Yeah, I do have to tap that pretty carefully without spiking down into it. We're doing well for health that time, too. So that's 2 each on the first wave, 3 each on the second wave. Just tap... no. I can't miss. If you successfully tap the enemy within the shield... So that's the shield generator down there. You kind of get into the circle and then tap it. But if you do it successfully, then you get a little bit of an air stall from the sword attack. If you don't do it successfully, whoops, now let's just redo this. Then you just fall. And that is not the best way to handle this. So let's... Okay. 2... Let's just angle ourselves properly here. 3 each. And you get more than enough projectiles back. And you see I just straight up missed. And if you miss, then you fall. You do have to get within the bubble, which is why we have to take such a risk. And I don't think the grapple can pull it. Oh, used way too many arrows that time. That's okay, we're at 9 out of 10. I'll just try to dispatch those easily. And then just pull this guy. And then grapple him repeatedly. And then archers... Oh, got shot. Whoop. Shot out of the sky. Yeah, we should actually take some of those temporary platforms on the right and left at some point, but they disappear anyway with some of the later enemies in this set, I think. No. Might as well just get accustomed to the aerial combat. Nope. Okay. Drop this one. And then... pull him. So, yeah, just had to be very deliberate sometimes about whether we're grappling up to the grapple point or grappling an enemy into us. And we can't really confuse the two. Okay. Like that. Took a little bit of damage health-wise, but we'll just go for the air combos on these guys. Single aerial combo, as we discovered last time, is enough to deal with those. This guy hits so hard. Oh yeah, it's the sniper, that's why. Well, hopefully we get some health replenishment, because that hits way too hard. Those are just one shot apiece, that's not a problem. We have 10. Now this one's annoying. And yeah, because he does that area of effect around himself. That's wave 10 though. That's, despite some sloppiness, better than usual. Record so far is wave 11. We just need reliable methods for everything we're doing. Oh, no. I went down too early. I was trying to anticipate a shield, and it had not yet properly spawned. Okay. Alright, and then grab this guy and just grab him back repeatedly. Yeah. Facing the right direction for the parry that time was rather important. We need to make sure we don't get iced by that one. Okay. Oh, got hit. Hopefully we get enough replenishment out of that. Nope. Poor positioning for that. I was trying to pull those off the ceiling, but we just ended up over pulling. Oh, missed the parry over here. Nope. We do need to pull this guy out. The idea is that you have to zap the birds right away, and then make sure you... Whoop. Deflect anything from the sniper until you actually have to deal with him. Okay. Now this one, we need to get out of the explosions. And then shoot him out of the sky once he's revealed. Wave 11, so again, this is the record so far. Now, we can probably just afford to deflect into some of these guys here. We just need to not take damage while we do it. Oh, and I'm out of arrows, no wonder. Okay. Overcommitted a bit to that. Yeah, so you can't just go all arrows all the time. For those, you do, in fact, need to deflect well and just try to kill them by deflection, I think. Okay, that's pretty solid. Arrows and just pull them quickly. Okay, good. That was actually pretty well dodged. Going well so far, let's not blow it. Okay, let's grab this guy. Nope, we blew it. Yeah, I think we got stunned out of being able to use the grapple when we were shot. You do need to take care of the birds immediately. And just dodge the sniper while you're at it. Just need to get the method down for number 8. We know that's a threat. We know how to deal with it in theory. We just need to follow the intended plan. After having done so many combat challenges recently that involved the knockback, kind of nice to do the knockback into grapple combo again for the first time in a long time, since we finally have to grapple back today in this set of challenge rooms. Oop. Oh, just zapped myself all over. Wow, that was ugly. No. Too much damage on the jellyfish wave. I think we can do this room, though. We previously got to wave 11 in relatively decent shape. Not perfect shape, but over half health. And we do have methods worked out for a good number of rooms at this point. Just that some of them can be prone to mistakes. Oh, I was hoping to pull him before he shot, but I guess we'll just depend on replenishment for some of that. This guy, we absolutely can't let him fire because he freezes us and drops us immediately. That was poorly aimed. zap that one with the grapple itself. Where did I go? I think I almost bugged myself through the ceiling for a moment. And those guys blow up down below. Yeah. That was not very systematic, but we made it. We're back to 10 out of 10 projectile, which is kind of important given how much punishment we take from that one floater. Yeah, we never learned to deal with those in the main game either, or rather, never got meaningful practice on them. 7 out of 10. Yeah, okay. We overspent projectiles a bit, but... pull that up, and... they don't fire as much when they're off-screen. They do fire sometimes. It's not a complete off-screen protection, but... whoa, no. Just whiffed the grapple that time. We dodged the ice at least, but I did whiff the grapple. Need to be pretty deliberate with shooting here. Whoops. That's a lot of misses. Nope. Too far. Okay. Going back. And yeah, you do get an arrow replenishment after each room, so. And as usual for many archers as well. Honestly, it's a health replenishment that matters more in some ways. It's the vertical position. Rather, you want to be on the same x-axis. You want to be above or below, because that way you don't fall into the diagonal when you go diagonal on those jellyfish explosions. Oh, that shot. And no. Yeah, wave 8, we still don't have a good sequence for it yet. I mean, we should shoot the birds right away, but you need to deflect the first sniper shot. And then maybe after that you start chasing the sniper. Prioritize the birds and then do that. I'm going into that room a little unprepared sometimes, I think. We don't think of the plan early enough. Oh, that was a bit of a miss there. That's okay. Okay, good deflection that time. Oh. No. Trying to get in position here. Okay, we eventually made it out of that. That was a little more awkward than it should have been. Okay, so here's a... yeah, okay. That's good. That's about as good as it will be. Yeah, that was finally properly done. And then we'll get into 10 in reasonable shape. Now, this guy, though, is an absolute pain. So we need to deal with him Where's the remaining enemy? I don't see him. There we go. Just need to blindly reach down there with the grapple. Okay. I'm trying to get in position with the grapple such that I can actually get my deflections down, and I just haven't been able to do it. Nope. Yeah, because if you get shot, obviously it disables some of your abilities for a moment while you're in a stun. And in that case, I was just trying to get into a position where I could actually safely parry without falling to my doom there. It just took a while to find that. Unfortunately, that didn't quite work out. It's too bad, because that was the best attempt yet by some distance. Mostly because of a clean wave 8. This was a very untidy start. We're really not supposed to take this much damage this early. We've also been underusing the side dash. That's something that I've noticed. That we've got so much going on with grapple already. Grapple on R, side dash on ZR. That we've been underusing it as a defensive mechanism. It's actually very useful in this room to get out of the diagonals. The explosions there. Well, we shouldn't just run into the middle there. We need to be on the same side as these so we can actually get out of the tongue lashes. That's not great health-wise. Oh. Well, in a bit of a perilous situation, unfortunately. With only a sliver of health remaining. This room is easy. At least, whoops, we fell. They do give you a bit of replenishment if you stand close to them when they die, I think, so we should try to zip around when we're able. But we shouldn't be taking that much damage at that point. We have managed to get out of wave 8 or so with perfect health before, and we should be able to do it again. And we can worry about things like wave 11 when we get there. Okay. Just narrowly dodging out. Then just get this guy before he tries to freeze you. Okay. That was actually reasonable. That was not as well positioned though. Okay, got a little bit of health back. Are they dead yet? No, this guy's not dead yet. Oh, whoops, accidentally pulled myself to him. There's a bit of a subtle difference between a tap grapple and a hold grapple in terms of whether you pull yourself to them or pull them to you. And sometimes that subtlety is the difference between life and death in this particular challenge room. You know, when you expect to retract an enemy and you accidentally work to them instead. Not the best outcome. Okay, a little bit of chip damage there, but we'll try to get out of this. Oh, let's recover my position for a minute. Dance around a little bit, but that's what happens. Jellyfish. Oh, just trying to fire too early there. Okay, 7 is these guys up top. Okay, this one's still alive. So is that one, actually. Okay. Oh, missed the deflection, and the sniper just smokes you. Even with a single shot. Now, 10 is the one that really concerns me because it's with the really annoying invisible guy who does explosions and all that. Can I tap him? Yeah. We have to just get away from that. Now this is all deflections. And we need to make sure we can get into a position where I'm allowed to deflect. And unfortunately, we just got swamped. So, haven't made it past 11 yet. But we're reasonably close, I think. It'll just be a matter of time and a matter of getting in there with enough of a health pool as well, so. Yeah, we just need better positioning in that room so we enable ourselves to deflect. This is archers. Okay. Whoa, got hit by the freeze that time. That's a lot faster than usual. I typically don't see him cast it that quickly. But if he freezes you, of course, you just get dunked right away. Ended up using more arrows than usual anyway, despite best efforts. Those were not our best efforts, but you know what I mean. Oh, nope. Too low. Okay, there we are. Then, always a bit of risk to go down to the field generator there. Okay, just can't let him get the cast off at all. That's really quite critical here. This one we can afford to take a little patiently. Nope, trying to get these down before they can zap me, but oh, still alive down there. Okay. Nope. I'm always trying to get the parry ready for the sniper shot, but we just haven't been able to account for the little delay that occurs between when you're allowed to grapple and when you're allowed to parry. We should be using the side dash a lot more in that room as our defensive tool, instead of just having the finger on the grapple all the time. Nope, just haven't been able to pick them up yet. Okay, jellyfish room. Let's again just take a little patiently if we can. That was an unfortunate bit of damage. We still don't have a foolproof method for how to approach those yet. Okay, that could have been worse. But yeah, trying to disable the sniper so we don't get shot right out of the front of that encounter seems kind of important. Nope. this guy, I just don't have a good method for him either. Which means that we enter 11 at a bit of a disadvantage because I just can't hit him. Oh. Well, that's even worse than usual. But at least he's gone. I guess that's what happened to... Oh, take too long. We'll just lose on 11 right away. Yeah, for 11 we just don't have enough arrows to go full arrows. We'd have to get some deflections. Oop. Too much incoming damage off of that. Okay. Well, he's trying to ice already, but luckily I got him down. Nope, trying to disable them both. The problem is that when you fight one of them, the other one zaps you as well, and so... Nope. Accidentally pulled myself down to the sniper instead of the other way around. Again, birds really do have to go down first, it's just that the sniper shot so quickly. So that room is always chaos. So after that, the next roadblock is the semi-invisible enemy on 10. Nope. Just hoping to dodge that. Yeah, I just need to make sure you move side to side enough that they can't catch you. Okay. That was better than usual, just a lot of sideways movement actually, just to dodge everything if we can. Back to 10 out of 10, now it's this guy. Oh. These ones are so hard to deal with, like, I don't know. Oh, still got somebody down there. Got some health back now. Oh. No, we're almost down at no health. Okay. Okay, first time seeing... Oh no, not yet. We still have to kill this one. Now, first time seeing wave 12. What do we got? Snipers. Nope. So close, actually. Double sniper. Yeah, we just need to make sure we burn one down right away. And dodge one while taking down the other one. But we're actually quite close to finishing then, if that's all there is. I mean, obviously snipers are terrible to deal with, but... Oops. How did that happen? But if it's just the two snipers in that room, then maybe we're okay. Sometimes, though, in the combat challenges, there's some final spawn at the very end. That counts as part of the same wave. But it looks like double sniper is probably a plausible final challenge already, so... I just don't know how to deal with Wave 10 very cleanly yet. That's the one that's the real stopping point right now. Okay, jelly room. Nope. Okay. Nope, I'm trying to get out of that with at least a side dash or something. And yeah, no wonder sniper's so difficult to deal with. I mean, they fire quickly. They do give you a bit of that warning, but things fall apart very quickly against them if you get shot even once. You're supposed to parry the shot, obviously, but because of that slight cooldown between parry and grapple in this particular challenge, that's maybe easier said than done. And I remember having trouble with snipers even fairly late into the game, when in the main game, when we were quite powerful already as a character. They're a threat throughout the adventure. A serious threat. Because you got a lot of damage both directly from them and from the bit of damage over time. They have a bit of a poisoning effect. Yeah, you just disable them with the grapple as soon as you can, and then... Okay, so now... let's just do that to stun him. And just interrupt the attack. I think that's the idea. So we took a little hit there, but really wasn't too bad. Yeah, using the grapple for an interrupt, I think, is the idea here. Okay, now let's figure out this guy. Because I have at no point really felt like I figured him out. Yeah, pelt him with arrows, that's the way. And just reduce this problem to 1 now. I've got 3 arrows. We want to do this by just pulling him out. Okay, now double sniper. No, we just fell into him. Okay, that's wave 12 though. I was trying to disable them with the grapple, but we really do need to swipe one of them down quickly if we're going to do that. Yeah, it seems like the idea behind wave 10, the enemy that we've been having trouble with, is just to try to smoke him with arrows before he can get anything down. Wave 5 is this guy, Iceman. Just can't let him cast. Wave 6 is jellies. Wave 7, again, we just try to disable. If we disable them with a grapple immediately, then even if they're alive, we can separate them quite a bit. Whoa, no, too close. I was trying to pull them towards me, and once again, just whiffed. But yeah, the way to mitigate damage is just to pull them off right away, both of them. And that seems to be a much better method. Okay. Oh. Okay, got the parry. Okay. really have to be deliberate about pulling them towards us, not the other way around. Oh. Can't let this guy get a single shot off. Okay. And that failed. Nope, accidentally went it down. That's not the best. Yeah, we don't want to spike like that, obviously. Don't touch the ground challenged. So that's just a matter of better control. Okay. That was a pretty good parry on short notice, actually, on that one arrow that was a little bit stray. Whoops. Stood a bit too close that time. It's okay, we'll get it back. Okay, that was a disaster. That did not work out. Just didn't stand in a very good position for those. Nope, this one's a disaster already. Yeah, look at that. 2 shots in the face, that's all it takes for that one to cut you down. So we, once again, really can't be taken by surprise by that wave. And now we need to plan. Okay. Archers. Okay. Let's be careful where we stand with the bellies here. We do have a kind of standard preferred pattern for them, I guess. Okay, got him down quickly. Oh. Okay, that was lucky more than anything. I was trying to grapple the enemy and I kept grappling the center point, and that actually inadvertently got me out of trouble. And this one, remember, we have to just pelt them with arrows, I think. If we care to appear. Okay, now 11. Nope, just got intercepted by that. Let's pull him up. Oh, didn't realize projectile was still heading my way. Okay, now we have almost no health against double sniper, which is not good. No, too much chaos. I was trying to pull him towards me and then trying to dodge at the same time, and too many problems. And we were on very low health too. We couldn't really take even a single shot. So just need to separate them so we can really whack away at one while bring the other one. Okay. Holding the right button is a good idea here. This game can scramble your muscle memory a little bit after doing a challenge for long enough and having occasional changes of plan. Okay, good. Got your position accurately that time, at least. No, I was trying to shoot, and then I accidentally spiked. I was trying to shoot the birds, and then somewhere on that rotation I messed up where my stick was pointing. We were doing so well going into that too, I disabled the sniper right away, and things looked good. Life was grand. Again, might just be a muscle memory issue. Okay, pull him over. Oh, standing too close. I was anticipating to spawn a little bit too early that time. Nope. Just trying to intercept him, and that did not go. Okay, sniper, let's... Nope, too low. I was trying to get out of there and grapple up, but it was actually obstructing my access to the grapple point. So that one, it's very difficult to just not take damage, I think, unless you are very good about parrying the sniper shot. So I'm trying to take the sniper out first, but it means I'm vulnerable to the birds. Okay. Okay, as long as you kind of take this patiently and give yourself lots of space, it's not too bad. I wish I didn't have to take damage on that one. Okay. That was a bit chaotic, but we made it. Nope. Wouldn't have taken any damage on that one. No. This guy zoning me out. And now we're in a very perilous situation going into 11. And yeah, there was just no chance. No room for error that time. Okay, got that. Oh, didn't expect to get shot. Yeah, we're sometimes pointing down when we shouldn't be, and that's obviously a huge risk for accidentally spiking down below. Let's give the spawns enough time to come up. Now, sniper wave. Yeah, you grapple him out of position first. And you grab the birds. That's about as good as that will ever be. Now, we need to not get smoked by this guy here. This one is so hard to deal with. It's just not somebody reachable for much of that room, and occasionally he zones you out when you're fighting the other guy, and so I think we just need to deal with them first. Oh, got caught by the explosion already. That's not good news. Well, I guess if we play it perfectly, we'll get enough health replenishment to back up, but... yeah, this is already a bit of a disaster of an attempt. Let's just redo it. So we've had a handful of attempts go to wave 12 already at this point. But it's very clear where the stumbling blocks are. No, I really need to stop doing that. You know what, let's just redo it. Just awful start. We had a method, let's stick to the method. The method is 2 arrows each, followed by 3 arrows each. No need to get too fancy. Oh, no. How did I miss that, huh? Oh, I didn't expect to get hit, that's why, so it disabled the grapple. Or the frame where I was trying to activate it. Tap the shield. Well, you need to not miss the shield, obviously, but we'll get it. Okay. Good. Let's go for archers next. Oh, missed it that time. A little bit off positionally of where I'd usually like to be. But we got it back on track somehow. Okay, jellies. Need to weave in between like that. To put these down. And that one's still alive. Okay, now sniper. We need to disable him first. Then pick up birds. Get back into this position to recover. Combo him out of there. There we go. Cleanest we've ever done it. Full health going into 9. And then full health going into 10. Now 10, this guy can really take me down to 0, so... where did he go? Is he going to come out? We'll just pelt him. Okay, good. Full health going into 11. Best we've ever done it. Yeah. Okay, pull him out. Nearly full health going into 12. Let's just not drop it into anything. That's the way to do it. Let's not drop out yet. We got it. Yeah, it just needed to be consistent enough on 8 and 10 in particular. 10 was still chaos, to be honest, but we had a good opportunity to pelt the enemy with arrows, and we just needed enough of an opportunity to actually be able to soak a hit or two by the time we got to 12, so. Now we're pretty close to the finish. We have 1 versus the world, 100 enemies, no potions. Parry to recover HP is actually pretty decent. I've been relying on it for so long as part of my main loadout in the game. Take your time as well. Yeah, so we'll take our time with this next time, and that will also lead to the hard mode for Elias. Got a fair bit done today. Got the boss rush, not boss rush, boss battle in the previous list done, and all 3 of these. This one, of course, had to be split over the disconnection because I thought I'd bugged it out, and then we managed to get the stream up and running just in time to see the solution right away. I still don't understand the solution to this one. It really felt like I was glitching out an edge case interaction in the game that I could only really discover accidentally, so this is one where I may have to compare notes and see what other people did with it, because I am not entirely convinced that it was using an intended mechanic to get through it, and it did not really seem to make logical sense. But again, that's something we can check later. So if this segment seems comparatively short, that's because it was, of course, the second half of a disconnected stream, segments 15 and 16. And or was it 16 and 17? 16 and 17, maybe. And next time we will finish these, and time willing, if we actually get those done without too much trouble, we may even stay long enough to take a stab at endgame. And again, yeah, full map sweep and some of the remaining puzzles. I don't know if we'll make another attempt on stream at those yet, because some of them we just stared at them for a while and couldn't figure out how to interact with them. And we have all the tools that we are able to get in the game at this point, I think, so it's not for lack of tools. So if we can get 100% on stream, obviously that would be nice, given that we're well into the 90s at this point, but we won't necessarily push ourselves to do it. Divine Trials, though, are well within reach, with just the 1 combat challenge and 1 loss remaining. And so the end is in sight. It's been in sight for a while, but now the end is really in sight. So let's save up. And that will pretty much be it for today's disconnected double session. And it will be almost certainly back to Mario Maker for the weekend. And past that point, we'll see what happens, because I am hoping to finish this next week. Maybe it will be 1 session, maybe it will be 2, we don't exactly know just yet. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for bearing with the interruption of service earlier on. And as always, usually within a day or so, I will have VODs up on the YouTube channel that we now have. Have fun with whatever you may be playing or watching or pre-ordering or otherwise attempting to secure. And, as always, fare thee well.